Okay, thank you everyone for joining. Let me first start by saying, introducing myself. My name is Thomas Carnevale. I am the CEO and founder of Century 360. I have to say, we are beyond overwhelmed with the amount of responses we received, for registered attendees. We literally only sent 2 emails soliciting, registers for this webinar, and have set a record within the Century 360 organization. This is without a doubt the most registered live webinar event we've ever hosted, and quite thankfully it followed suit with all of the people that actually showed up today. So we set 2 records, the most registered attendees and the most live attendees today. And we are going to be having this again tomorrow. And just for everyone's edification, I am recording this, so you will be able to rewatch it or share it with friends or coworkers after the fact. So a few housekeeping notes to speak to. The first and foremost, this is not a scripted webinar. Okay, I am not reading off of script. There could be pauses. There could be errors and omissions during the webinar cast, and we want this to be fun. We want this to be interactive. We're going to have a few quick polls during the course of the webinar. We're also going to be showing you some action video taken from SentryMobile Body Worn Cameras. So stay tuned for that. And then at the very end, we have a small token of our appreciation exclusively reserved for the live attendees today. So I think that's all the housekeeping items. Please feel free to submit your questions during the course of the webinar. I will see them and I will answer as many as I possibly can, time permitting, towards the end. So let's get going. So first and foremost, Century 360 is a advanced developer of sophisticated intelligent surveillance cameras. We've been in the industry for the greater part of a decade. We definitely are a company within the industry that has taken the road less traveled. I started Century out of my own basement over 10 years ago, and we've since grown our technology, our intellectual property. We have several strong issued patents that we've cultivated over the years. We've won major competitive industry awards, which we're humbled by still to this day. And we've since expanded internationally, growing outside of our corporate office in Chicago. We now have an office in Istanbul and Dubai. And overall, we have 12 years of R&D, video surveillance, software development, hardware development experience. So we feel we are a company that is exceptionally well positioned to bring wearables and body-worn camera technology to market with our experience. So let's get right into it. We really need to kind of dive into what are the top 3 requirements from body-worn camera technology. So what do end users really want to see out of this technology? That's important to understand. So I'll answer it very quickly. So the 3 answers are ease of use, which I just unveiled, secure, okay, and rugged and reliability. Okay, those are the 3 main requirements that end users will want to experience out of wearables and body-worn camera technology. So let's get into it. Ease of use. Let's unpack this a little bit. So we wanted to create a hardware device that was very simple to operate. A simple touch on, touch off. A simple touch record, a simple one-touch stop record. And every time the user pushes the button, it gets a verification in a vibration. So the camera vibrates to verify that that command has been issued. Notice on the camera, there is no, on the face of the camera, there is no button on the front, and that is absolutely by design. We think it could be, in some degrees, a design flaw, flaw that having the buttons or any kind of connected command to be on the front of the camera. These are rugged devices that are going to be dropped and maneuvered, and so we have a carefully crafted button that is on the side that is well protected as well. So operating the camera, simple one button push, okay? And charging and maintaining and uploading that footage is as simple as putting the camera in its cradle docking solution, and it automatically uploads that footage to a file structure, which we're going to dive into. The second is security. And so what I mean by that is a cybersecurity element to body-worn cameras. Everyone is very, very concerned about this, and I really think the physical security industry needs to pay more attention to this and integrate this more into from the beginning, the middle, and the end of their product development. So, body wearables are secure evidence capturing devices. So they need to support a variety of different protocols and literally be recording at the edge and encrypted. So we have a variety of different requirements, AES 256 encryption. So while it's recording, it is encrypting. And so if someone were to just take the body-worn camera, they cannot just plug it into a laptop like you can other devices and just delete or edit or change that video. Furthermore, no physical user of the camera can change or edit any video. They can review it, but they cannot change or alter that video. And this really is going to completely paint an entire story of what is the process of body-worn camera technology, and we will be discussing that again in a little bit. So secure. Body-worn cameras need to be very, very secure. And the third is they need to be rugged and reliable. These are devices that are going to be dropped. They're going to be put in all types of different weather conditions. So it is IP67 submerged in water capable. It is drop resistance up to 8 feet. So products need to last a long time, especially a product like this that is going to be moving. It's going to be handled with consistency. It needs to have reliability and a rugged mechanical design. So now is a really good time because most of our customers, most of our following within the industry are kind of new to body-worn cameras. So we want to kind of take the pulse here, and we are going to ask a question. So please engage with us so that we can learn more from you, and you can learn more from us. Have you ever used body-worn camera technology? So yes or no. I am launching the poll now. So feel free to click yes or no. If directly or indirectly you've ever used a body-worn camera, please let us know if you've tried them, if you've experimented with them. I'm going to keep the poll open for a few more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, poll is closed. Now, 26% of you have used a body-worn cameras, and as expected, the overwhelming majority, 74%, have never used directly or indirectly a body-worn camera tech. So for the users that have used it before, we're really excited to present our differentiation. And for the users that are learning about body-worn for the very first time, we think we're giving a really good baseline education of the history of body-worn cameras, what they are not, how they work, and what is the overall integration and experience with them. So thank you for that. That was really, really helpful, and 87% of all the live attendees voted, so that's really great to see as well. So a big question, what are body-worn cameras? So I'm going to answer this by telling you what they are not, okay? They are not smartphones, they are not action cameras, and they are not consumer handheld recording devices. All of these devices have an inherent flaw, and that is security, okay? Any one of these devices you can take, plug them in, edit, change, extract all of the video evidence. okay? And within security applications, you cannot allow that. So body-worn cameras are not consumer devices. Furthermore, if you ever have taken long stretches of video with your smartphone, they get hot. A lot of these devices, these consumer devices, are meant to take a high volume of short clips. They're not meant to take hours and hours of video. They're meant to take small sections of clips. So that keep in mind that there's a mechanical, electrical component built into body worns that allow them to record video at high frame rates, at high HD resolution for long periods of time. So there's battery life to consider, and the SentryMobile Body Worn Cameras can record 5 hours of 1080p, 30 frame per second video non-stop. That's a lot of video before the battery will need to be recharged. So another instance is, for all of you 74% of you folks who haven't used body-worn cameras, which I would assume are also very familiar with video surveillance industry and camera tech, you're used to seeing system designs similar to this. So you have a network video recorder, you have your IP infrastructure, and your cameras are constantly connected to the network, okay? Body-worn cameras are not network surveillance cameras. They are not constantly connected to a network infrastructure and are streaming data, okay? It is not a network video surveillance that is streaming data on motion, trigger, or constantly to a recording engine to a hard drive. It is recording to itself. Now, can our cameras be connected to a wireless infrastructure for live streaming at reduced resolution and frame rates? Yes. But I have to carefully caution you that that will take a complete end-to-end wireless infrastructure design, and for all intent and purposes, 80+% of body-worn camera applications are not streaming live. Just the wireless infrastructure for streaming video of that nature is not accessible, especially for a moving device. So the applications that you're going to be seeing for mass markets are recording securely to the edge device themselves. So please try to separate, you video surveillance users, separate body-worn cameras from network cameras. There's a big difference, okay? So now is a really good time to explain to you not only why Sentry 360 got into this market, but what our research has told us. Now, we had the idea over 2 years ago to come up with Wearables and create a easy to use mobile camera that does not have to be connected to the network constantly or have dependencies upon a fixed physical installation. We see an emerging market here. We've seen it for some time. And so before investing a significant amount of money in research and development, we looked who the existing players were. Now, this was even before the Ferguson attack in the U.S. in August of 2014. We started researching this, and this is what we really uncovered. There's not a lot of big players in this market. There's really only one, and there's a lot of kind of small to mid-sized players, but all of them have a really common go-to-market strategy. Get the end user to be locked up for recurring long-term charges. Okay, and so what we did was we studied the hardware, we studied the software, and the overall architecture is what some of these now competitors have brought to market, and we saw that as being a significant problem. Really being raised. Sentry 360 was really raised in the video surveillance industry. That 74% of users here that are with me today know that most users are not paying recording monthly recurring charges for their fixed installed video surveillance storage because they have a NVR or digital video recorder on site. Okay, And so, I'm going to get into more details and unravel some more layers of, us versus them. But that I see a big problem in the body worn market, and furthermore, body worns were really born out of the law enforcement industry. Okay, so the same manufacturers that are creating bulletproof vests and stun guns are the ones creating sophisticated electrical and software forensic capturing devices. So because of the business model and the current state of the market, we see a really big problem. And us at Sentry 360, we really like to solve big problems. So moving on, that kind of shows you a little bit of the motivation behind why we decided to bring this to market the way we did. And now let's unpack this, okay? So us versus them. So, with us, you own your own storage. Just like a video surveillance solution, you own your own storage. And, our competitors, they're going to lock you up. They're going to lock up your storage, and then they're going to give you access to it, okay? And another one is we have a really well thought out. So not only did we do, before we launched into R&D, did we really take a pulse of the industry and the players in the market. As we were developing the product, we enlisted in several, chief of police, commanders, lieutenants from a variety of different jurisdictions throughout the country, from law enforcement and other emerging markets, which we also are going to really dive deep into as well. And they were able to successfully give us a lot of feedback. This is what we want from these types of solutions. It needs to be a complete solution. It needs to, they talked about features. They talked about protocols. They even, taught us about what chain of custody is, which I'm really grateful that I get to pass on to you later in the webinar as well. So we created a ton of flexible packages that can scale. And again, they require you to pay monthly recurring costs. And finally, we, just like our other surveillance cameras, we have an open architecture technology ecosystem that our products fit within. And theirs is a complete proprietary end-to-end solution that doesn't work on third-party systems. So I think that's really important. And now this slide is arguably probably one of the top or 2 or 3 slides that I thought one of some of the biggest messages that I want to give the users, and especially considering the audience here of end users of video surveillance solutions and system integration companies that are designing and building fixed video, wired video surveillance solutions. This is important. We feel body-worn cameras are inherently an extension to, and should be proposed and designed as an extension to any fixed video surveillance solution, because they can go and see what your fixed cameras cannot. Think about all the intangibles. Think about even panoramics, in depth of field, in pixels per foot, and then optical zoom with PTZs. Having the combination of people and technology working together to capture the right evidence in different areas is absolutely critical. And we feel that body-worn is a natural progression to extending the quality and the sophistication and the reach of any fixed video surveillance system. Okay, so I really want that point to be driven home thoroughly. So now let's really go through all of the different vertical markets outside of law enforcement that we think can benefit from body-worn and what we're seeing so far in our launch. So obviously the cousin vertical market to law enforcement are commercial security guards. So for retail, for commercial buildings and things of that nature, them having an audit trail to protect from liability and to have, again, that extension to their their fixed wired surveillance system is a natural progression. So we think that any moving key employees or security guards that are responsible for securing the grounds of any facility or people there within should be wearing body worn. Fire departments and EMT. This is again a liability solution, and we're seeing this as being a very much a growing market as well. We are interacting with several fire departments and system integrators that are supporting those as well. Transportation, so not only on buses, trains, but even police cars as well can use the body worn with a specialized mount that we have that works with the dashboard. But obviously those TSA agents that give us the extra attention, they need liability coverage as well. And so transportation we see as a growing market. Festivals, events, concerts, when you have a large quantity of people, and so when the people outnumber the ones securing everyone, you have to have that extra layer of mobile security. So and this is really important, and this is actually kind of took us by surprise in the past several months, how big quality control and compliance this vertical market is with wearables. And in the next slide, we're really going to kind of unpack what are these vertical markets using body worn for. But this took us by surprise, the large demand by food manufacturers, manufacturing plants, and others that are very much in need of keeping quality control and using body worn and wearables as a tool for that. So let's get into this, how non-law enforcement users are going to use body worn. So something that also we learned over time in developing these products and talking to users about it was training purposes, and it was kind of that epiphany moment where, well, wearables are creating content. They're going and seeing what the user is doing kind of behind their eyes. So this is a really easy content creator or capturer to create that information to train and onboard new employees and staff what to do, what not to do. What better than a body worn camera to capture that precision detail to deliver useful information to help new employees, to make them better, and to also onboard and train your people. So and kind of that works in harmony with that is process improvement. If your company is like mine, we have a little theme, okay? And our theme is get better every day, okay? We don't have the attitude that we have everything figured out. And so the companies that I engage with, share this philosophy. They want to always improve process, okay? And so we feel body worn cameras is that content capturer that will improve process over time. And this fits with, again, a variety of different applications. Quality control, we started talking about this. This could potentially be a significant cost savings for having users be compliant. It could catch things that the human eye couldn't see and will really create a high level of sophistication in the quality control process. So liability coverage. Anyone likes technology that can save them money, and we also are now starting to talk to insurance companies with from the healthcare markets and again food processing and manufacturing facilities where wearables and body worn cameras will give them that extra liability coverage against situations like that. And the obvious scenario is liability against false claims. So if your people or an officer on the street has false claims, this is a really high quality technology that will protect people from lawsuits and any other kind of activity around that. And then inspection. So inspection services that go to farms, that go to manufacturing plants. This is an extra layer of protection for them and certifying that their documentation is in line and verified with video. So these are some of the reasons and more, in addition to security, that we feel body-worn cameras delivers incredible value. So now let's take another poll. Okay, I'm going to adjust my dashboards here. We are going to say, let's take this poll right now. So if you had to pick one vertical market, what do you think would be most beneficial, for body-worn cameras? So I'm going to stay silent for a few seconds here and let everyone chime in. Okay, votes are really coming in now. We're at 77% voted. Okay, I think we're going to close this poll in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Close. Okay, so here are the results. 41% of you said commercial security guards. 13% of you said food processing manufacturing. 33% of you said fire departments or EMTs, and 13% said transportation. And a really, thank you everyone. This is really exciting for me because I love when people are getting something from this. 83% of you live voted, so that shows really high interaction. Thank you very, very much for that. So really important data. And also, just so you know, we're going to share this with you. We're not sharing anyone's names or anything else like that. There's a reason why you can't see the other people who are attended, but we are going to share the poll results in addition to the recorded webinar, so you can really take home with you this information that we're learning together on. So, okay, so this is a really nice pivot to go into why SentryMobile is different. Okay, why is our technology different from our current body-worn camera manufacturer competitors? So first and foremost, our technology is designed by surveillance pros. A lot of the current products on the market were a development reaction. Okay, they were a company that saw a emerging market, had very little experience in electronics, optics, and forensics, and decided to come out with a product. Okay, so body-worn cameras from SentryMobile are designed by surveillance pros. We are taking from the great parts of the video surveillance industry and bringing that to body-worn, and I'm going to tell you how we're doing that in a little bit, so please stay with me. But we have an open architecture platform approach, so we want to be a part of the solution, okay, a meaningful part of the solution, but we want this technology to be used for a variety of different platforms, software, storage, and different configurations to attack mass markets. From our configuration of our total solutions, which is coming, we're right on the heels of, to our architecture, we are developing body-worn for the masses. We think this is a really big deal, a really big idea, and we're very focused on it. We put a lot of thought into how we're bringing this to market. Again, in concert with affordable pricing plans and configurations. So now let's kind of look at some of the buttons, the hardware elements of this product. So I pushed a talk button right here. This integrates seamlessly with any walkie-talkies or two-way radios. That is your simple start-stop button for recording. Okay, you push it once, it vibrates to verify your command, and push it again, it vibrates to verify that command again. On-off power button, so notice there's a concave section, so if it does fall here, it won't turn off the body-worn camera. That's very, very important, and all these buttons are very rugged. You do need to push it with some grit Okay, it's not just a very simple button. You need to. There's a reason why you have to actually put a little bit of power behind that command. So there's an audio trigger. So the cameras are also a on-the-fly interview recording device. Okay, so not video. If you are recording, taking an in-the-field interview with a witness, and a lot of times witnesses don't want to be on camera, you can take an audio recording only of that through SentryEdge, and we'll show you how that works coming up here. You can also, for forensics, take photos, so much higher resolution, 16 megapixel images of license plates, things in vehicles. So, law enforcement, when they're doing an investigation, they need sometimes more than videos, and they need to take a very high resolution still of some instances. And this camera is your forensic capturing device. That's what it delivers. So the back of the camera. So here is your adjustable clip and harness. So we have a variety of different accessories that work with this. One is a dash cam accessory that connects it to the windshield. Another one is a harness that attaches it to the officer or individual wearing it. Recently there was another incident in our country which is very disturbing, and the body-worn cameras, there was a physical struggle between law enforcement and the individual, and the body-worn cameras instantaneously fell off. And that's a problem. And so we, again, thought through this, and we can't say that we came up with all these ideas on our own. We really just took the time in speaking with law enforcement community and speaking with individuals and asked them for help so that we could come in the door with a product line we could stand behind with confidence. And that's why we have a variety of different adjustable accessories. So when there's a struggle, a physical struggle, or that camera is not going to fall off. Not just a clip, but a harness that can be attached with comfort to the user. Sorry, that went on a little bit long, but that's really important to understand, is that you have accessories. You have the ability to really make sure these devices are going to do what you need them to do. So headphone jacks, this is where you would connect your walkie-talkie, your headphones. A laser pointer, we added this in really because it was a suggestion for SWAT teams, for military who are in extreme low light situations. This is a guided solution that on the fly can work, and it will also work while video is recording as well. This is your playback screen, so it's a small LCD screen. Now I also want to tell you that this is not like viewing a iPhone 6 Plus or 7 Plus or whatever they have today. This is a small screen for the verification of that recording and to change fundamental settings of recording, frame rates, resolutions, codecs, and things like that. Again, you cannot delete the footage off the device. And then the HDMI and USB for charging, and then HDMI, you can actually connect the live screen to an additional monitor and view the video on a larger screen as well, and then the buttons, of course, to configure that and go through the settings. Very simple. All right, so this is a important next transition to really understand the full solution of what we had. I know I keep coming back to this, but I can't tell you how helpful it was in how accommodating law enforcement was, and I wish I could thank them by name individually. There were so many of them, but we got a lot of help in creating our software platform, because there's a really important process for law enforcement, which is probably the biggest market for body-worn cameras today. Although we've already explained we see a much higher potential with others long-term, law enforcement is very key. So we wanted to cultivate and develop a body-worn platform that works within local jurisdictions, and that's chain of custody, which we are going to fully describe with a diagram in a few slides. So this is the initial interface that represents a real-time view of the performance of and how much each individual camera is powered within the docking station that the total solutions come with, and it also shows you a standby progress bar of when the footage is uploaded and how much. So the orange will show it's in process and will show you how much footage has been uploaded. The green is complete. So when the green is complete, that means that evidence is taken from the body-worn cameras and securely transitioned to the file structure that we've set up, which we're going into. This is another interface that shows the audio recordings and the interviews that you can do with body-worn SentryMobile. You can manage them. You can add metadata as well. This is part of the interface where you can actually, and this is another component to Evidence Manager, our software SentryMobile Evidence Manager, that you can actually extract the identity. It's called, in this industry, redacting. So you can redact the identity of certain individuals within the recording structure. This is a process that we're really working on intently right now. There's a lot of development here that we're working on for some custom applications, because we're seeing a lot of different needs around redaction and a lot of policies as of right now that still haven't taken form. So fundamentally, what Evidence Manager does is it allows users to create metadata. Okay, so that is the GPS location of where the video was taken. That is the device number, the user number. So you can assign an individual identity with that individual camera. So it makes sure that John Smith isn't using Jake Smith's body-worn camera. So the user number, the product number, the date time stamp that is watermarked, the GPS location, and then the categorization process. What type of evidence was it? Is it a again, for law enforcement, is it DUI? Is it a burglary? So you can classify, categorize, and manage all of your evidence in a very succinct, easy-to-use platform. Okay, and that is incredibly important. And I'm going to kind of really rope all of this together with chain of custody here. But now to complete this full circle, we have a lot of thought put into storage options that the user owns for a multitude of demands. So 30, 60, 90 days of storage options, and we even actually have longer ones. And so there's some piece of evidence that is maybe even a minute long, where some jurisdictions need to keep that for a year. Through our total solutions, we have provided the ability to share and put the storage based on classification where you want it and for however long that you need it for. So a centralized file structure, a variety of exciting storage partners that we've really we're excited to announce in the months and weeks ahead that complete part of the solution. And rack mounts or towers are available, and we have a variety of different units available. So to kind of close off the value propositions here, this is a secure edge device that has an open architecture design philosophy by surveillance veterans, and we feel that it can be an extension to any video surveillance solution. And so this really kind of shows it and brings it all together. Again, this was advice that we got from the market to have a full solution, not just here's the here are a bunch of different part numbers. So what are the user's needs, and cultivating a package solution around those with our technology partners. So whether it's a small 10 camera system, 20 camera system, 30 camera system, or a 200 camera system, we have a scaled solution that you can grow into over time with free Evidence Manager software. Okay, so this is probably really tying in everything. Secure chain of custody is, by definition, is the process by which evidence is secured for law enforcement. Okay, so we had to get significant consult on this process to shape our solution and software. So let's make sure to be on the right page here. Okay, so Okay, so what you're seeing on the screen here, I think we're, oh, sorry. Of course it's live. This is in Hollywood, so a couple errors here and there. But all right, so on the left, let's walk you through this. So we have individuals wearing body worns and cameras on mobile vehicles as well. The cameras are securely, as we've unpacked, are securely stored at the edge. Then they're taken back to your central location and put into a docking system to power, charge, and automatically upload that storage to a secure file structure that SentryMobile Evidence Manager is retaining. So once that storage is uploaded, the files are classified by adding metadata within the local jurisdiction's process. And also a side note is that any application, law enforcement, any jurisdiction that has special categories or special names they call certain things, or if you want to even tailor this to a different vertical market, all of the fields are custom within Evidence Manager. For law enforcement applications that meet all of jurisdictions, regulatory requirements, and then for non-law enforcement applications. So with Evidence Manager, you're categorizing your evidence, you're storing your evidence securely, and then you can decide to share that video. So you can send it to a network-attached storage, you can send it to a CJIS-compliant data center, you can send it to the district attorney, and this is the process and the component that differentiates Sentry360 from every single body-worn camera developer out there. You can also now share that metadata-created database with a VMS that is securing the police station, that is securing the city, that is securing a public works department, or any other commercial facility as well. Sharing that database but keeping the secure chain of custody process intact for body-worn cameras is what we figured out is to be the best of both worlds. Okay, the reality is users aren't going to be constantly streaming this video to a wireless infrastructure. So, but that evidence needs to be securely captured, retained, and processed. So we really thought through this, and we thought, what is the best way for that evidence to be falling in line with the process of body-worn categorization and security, but also sharing it, and that's with database architecture sharing. So we've created an API that works with a variety of different VMS partners in the industry. And before launch, we already are proactively working with them to share this architecture so that when you're a city surveillance or a 911 center and you're reviewing an incident on the corner of Michigan and Dearborn in Chicago, for example, and there was an incident there, your street light camera can review the video, and then your body-worn cameras can be reviewed and investigated in complete concert. And that is the clear from coming from the video surveillance industry. That is the differentiator that we wanted to give not only our industry but also the proprietary body-worn industry as well. So we have one more slide, and then we're going to get to the action-packed videos. And thank you, everyone. I've had 90 to 100% audience views this entire time, which is and really high engagement on the polls. Thank you very much. This isn't talked about enough, and we're going to kind of walk quick through this. The business of body-worn cameras. So Sentry360 is channelizing this technology, and that's important to understand. But before that is, body-worn cameras is actually, for you salespeople and system integrators, it's a shorter sales cycle, which is kind of an attractive thing. Designing fixed video surveillance systems, they take project management, they take rollout, they take planning. Body-worn cameras isn't necessarily physically installed on anyone. It's just put onto an individual. So it is inherently a shorter sales cycle. So that's a positive. There is an incredible high demand. The current climate of not only domestically but international is a high demand for high-resolution, secure edge devices at affordable prices, and that with the combined architecture, philosophy that we have, we think we're going to do very, very well, and we want all of you to, collaborate with us. So, I may have made up a word here, but now it's channelized. So what that means is, the greater part of the body-worn camera industry is direct sales. These, they're selling direct to the end user, servicing the end user, supporting the end user, and charging them recurring fees directly. We are not going to change our business model. We are going to bring body-worn to the channel, to the system integration. We have training programs that we're setting up right now where you can be a certified SentryMobile system integrator. You can support the end users with your on-site installation services and additional recurring fees for yourselves. And you can also eventually get this through distribution as well. And any technology that delivers a return on investment is a significant one. So the business of body-worn cameras, we want to grow it with you. We want to be a part of a sales ecosystem as well as a technology ecosystem. So now let's get to some action videos. So I am going to be quiet for a few minutes and everyone enjoy. And I also want to point out by saying, if you are not on the live attendee, you cannot see some of this video, and enjoy it.
Grab him by the beard, make sure he doesn't fall.
Grab him by the beard. That might give him a headache.
Alright, get your game faces on. Finish up. Stevie, turn. Move on.